Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the English with Gemma podcast, the place where you take your English practice and you turn it into progress. Today, I have my stuffed elephant, my little cuddly toy that I sleep with him every night. I'm 27 years old, and I'm not afraid to admit that I sleep with a stuffed animal every night. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And apparently, if you have trouble sleeping or you have nightmares, a really good way to avoid that is by sleeping with a stuffed animal. The more you know. Okay, so I feel like a bear that is coming out of hibernation because I have been super like low energy, depressed, just all over the place recently. And finally I'm kind of feeling better. I'm feeling like I'm getting my energy back. And yeah, I wanted to do kind of a general chat episode. I haven't done one of those in a while, and I just feel like that's something that I need to do right now, like for myself and also for everyone who listens or watches. And you probably noticed if you like really listen and watch that I took like a 2 week break. Was it 2 weeks or 3 weeks? I think it was just 2 weeks. And I didn't do it on purpose. I just kind of, I don't know, I lost all motivation. And it's something I've been struggling a lot with recently. It's trying to find like ideas, trying to find the energy and motivation to record and then edit. And for the podcast, it's not so difficult. But for my Instagram, I find it more difficult because for my Instagram, I have to do a lot more editing. And yeah, I don't know. I've just been feeling like this happens every year. And I've talked about it a lot on like all of my social medias, I think, like seasonal affective disorder or seasonal depression. And yeah, it's definitely something that I struggle with a lot. Like every year around November, I start feeling really sad. And every year I'm like, what's wrong with me? And then I'm like, okay, Gemma, like this happens every year, exactly the same. Like it's just seasonal depression. And I don't know if any of you can relate, but I feel really guilty because like seasonal affective disorder is supposed to affect you if you live in like a cold country, I think. And like when I lived in England for 8 years, I kind of had like an excuse to actually have seasonal depression because it was cold, it was windy, it was rainy, it was dark. But like I live in Spain now. Like I live in Alicante, and I feel like weird. I feel kind of guilty that I still like experience this seasonal depression because it's not like it's a beautiful sunny day today. Um, yeah, it gets dark and it's a little bit like depressing because it's definitely winter here now. You can't like go to the beach and go swimming, but it's really not that bad. It's not like I'm living in a country like Sweden where it's like dark all the time and cold, or the UK. I don't know. And I kind of have been just beating myself up, and to beat yourself up means to be really hard on yourself, to be really difficult and like make yourself feel bad and guilty for something. So, yeah, I've been beating myself up a lot, and I've been thinking like, "Oh, you like why are you feeling depressed? Like you have no excuse. You live in Spain." But I can't help the fact that like this is how I'm feeling, and I think I just need to accept it and stop fighting it. And the more that I like just accept it and I just try to do work when I feel good, I think that's like how I'm gonna get over it. Like making myself feel bad for feeling a certain way isn't gonna help me stop feeling that way. So, yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at right now. I I'm really trying to find like the positives and just like I said, do work when I feel like more energetic. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling sad and like no motivation. So I just want to apologize and say I'm sorry for disappearing for 2 weeks. I'm back and I'm feeling better. And I just need to remember that this happens to me every year. It's normal, nothing's wrong with me. And if it happens to you, it's the same. Like in winter, we're going to have less energy. We're going to feel a little bit more like tired. I say tired and then I yawn. So don't beat yourself up if you've been feeling low energy and maybe not your usual self. In the winter months, it's normal. And honestly, it's normal in any month, but in the winter, it can happen more often. So, drink water, take your vitamins, take your medication, take your antidepressants if you're on them, and yeah, don't beat yourself up too much. So that's just I just wanted to talk about that quickly. And in more positive news, just give you some like life updates. So um today the recording date is December 15th. I have no idea when this episode's going to go out. I might release it on the same day, or I might wait a week. Honestly, who knows with me? You never know. But I last week, no, 2 weeks ago, I was in Prague in Czech Republic visiting two of my dear friends, Mira and Ron. And they've been living there for 2 years now. Oh, actually, no, just 1 year. But they have 2 more years left that they will be living in Prague. And I went to visit them and I had the best time. It was, firstly, amazing to see my best friends. And secondly, wow, Prague is such a cool city. I had no idea. Like, I had no idea what to expect. So I think sometimes in life, when you go into something with like zero expectations, you're often like more impressed when something is good because you just didn't expect anything. Whereas when you expect a lot, sometimes it doesn't meet up to your expectations and you feel a little bit disappointed. But with Prague, I just went there with like no expectations and I was blown away. To be blown away means to be like really surprised by something. And I was blown away because, wow, firstly, it's such a beautiful city. Like every building is beautiful, like stunning architecture, colorful buildings, like green, blue, purple, pink. It's such a colorful city. And I really wasn't expecting that because most European cities, like, they're just like stone and not many colors. So that was really cool. Another thing that was awesome was the Christmas markets. If you're going to go to Prague, I highly recommend going in the Christmas period because wow, those Christmas markets were so festive and cozy. The food was amazing, the atmosphere, all the Christmas lights, the Christmas trees, the decorations, the music. And then when you match that with like the cold weather, it was just so nice because you're like cozy and you're wrapped up all warm, you're drinking hot wine and going around the Christmas markets. It was wow, it was amazing. I really liked it. And what else? What else about Prague? There's just so many cool things to do. Like we went to a secret cinema where they basically like there it's in a secret location every month. It changes, or every season, I'm not sure how often. And you basically buy a ticket, you show up to the location, and they had it all decorated for Christmas. And you entered into the cinema through a closet door. And then it was in this massive warehouse. And the chairs were like little bean bags, and you had blankets, you could order food, and everything was like so Christmassy. The movie was Love Actually, which is like one of my favorite Christmas movies. And yeah, I think it was called Secret Christmas Cinema or something. So if you're going to Prague, definitely. Oh, sorry, it was called Sunset Cinema. Sunset Cinema. Definitely check out Sunset Cinema. They're always in different locations depending on the season. And it was such a cool experience. Like, I really wasn't expecting much. And again, I was pleasantly surprised. So, very, very cool cinema experience. And then we also went to a place called Levels, which is, it was a mix between an arcade and a bar. So, an arcade, it's those places where you go to play video games and racing car games. Sorry, I think it's time for my second coffee of the day. Um, and yeah, it was super cool. Like we played all these racing games, and you buy like a card and then you just charge the card. And it wasn't that expensive. I think it was like 13 euros, and you can play as much as you want. Like it's unlimited, which I was like really surprised by. And it was awesome, like super, super fun. The atmosphere was cool, the music was cool. You can drink and play at the same time. Beautiful like decoration of the place. And also it's called Levels because like it also has different levels. Like I think there was 3 floors. So there's like 3 different floors of games. And then I think on the bottom floor there was a karaoke bar, like a secret, you could like VIP reserve a karaoke room. We didn't do that, but I just noticed it and I thought that was cool. And what else did we do? Oh wow, so many good restaurants in Prague, like a lot of gluten-free and vegan restaurants, which again was really exciting for me because I'm lactose intolerant and gluten intolerant. So that was cool. Um, and yeah, I just had an overall really awesome time with my friends, and I I definitely wouldn't live in Prague, but I could spend a lot of time there. Like, oh, another thing, there was a really cool market near the riverside, and it was food and like, wow, a lot of stuff. Oh, something else that was really interesting about Prague that I didn't know was that like smoking weed is like legal, and there were so many weed stores. I don't smoke weed, but I just thought it was interesting. There were so many weed stores and like so many people in the markets just selling weed products. And yeah, I didn't know that it was like that, and it was kind of funny. Like there was just so many weed stores in the center. Um and Gummies, edibles, like all sorts of stuff like that. So I thought that was interesting. And it's funny because it's technically not legal to sell it. So the people that were selling it were like being really weird about it. And I don't know, it was just like really funny. I don't actually know what the legal, like what the law about it is there, but yeah, it was quite funny. Um, yeah, I wouldn't live in Prague because um the Czech people, like the vibe was weird. Like the young Czech people are super cool. Like I met a Czech guy and some other Czech people, super nice. I really liked them. But like the older generation, it's like really weird. I was in 2 different places. It happened twice. The first night, I was in a restaurant, and it was a type of restaurant where there's a bar, there's DJ, there's cocktails. It was like very loud. Like it was not just a restaurant, it was like a bar. Like it was very, what I'm trying to say is like it was loud, and the atmosphere was very much of like it was a Friday night. And I was just talking with my friends, and obviously, as you know, I'm an expressive person. I'm quite a loud person. And I was talking at my normal level of my voice, and we were in a very loud place. And the man next to me, I think he was probably in his like 60s. He turns to me and he says, um, that's quite enough, or can you tone it down, or something like that, like super rude. Basically, he was telling me to be quiet or shut up. And never in the history of my life, of my 27 years of life, has a stranger told me to lower my voice or be quiet. So, of course, I was like, okay, whatever, sure, no problem. I thought it was weird, but okay. And my friends told me that in Prague, well, in the Czech Republic, well, I'm not sure about the Czech Republic. I shouldn't generalize. In Prague, they are very like what's the word? It's very important for them to be quiet at certain like hours. Apparently when you're in the street after like 10 p.m., you need to be quiet. You shouldn't be shouting. And it's really different from Spain because in Spain, people are very loud. People do whatever they want, like until whatever time in the morning. They're shouting, screaming, singing, partying, and nobody cares. But apparently in Prague, you have to be quiet at certain hours, which I totally understand if you're on the street. But when you're in a bar and someone tells you to be quiet, it was just very weird. Then it happened again. So I went to go meet up with one of my students, one of my online English students. She lives in Prague and she's Italian. I'm half Italian. So we were both talking loudly in a cafe. And two older women, again, older generation, they got the waitress to tell us to be quiet. They didn't even say it themselves. The waitress came over and she was like, "I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know why, but these women are saying, can you be quiet?" Anyway, so that was one thing that I thought was weird. And I couldn't see myself living in Prague for that reason, honestly, because in Spain, I love the loud culture. I love the party. I love like that people are very expressive and fun and open. And I felt like Czech people were very like reserved and cold and quiet. Also very friendly, the younger people, I would say. But yeah, that was just something that I observed about Czech people. If you're from Czech Republic, or if you live in Prague, or if you have any experience, please let me know what you think about that, whether it has any truth or not, or whether it was just a weird experience I had. But yeah, it was definitely interesting, definitely different. I love to see like different cultures and the different kind of cultural norms in each place. And of course, I'm gonna respect them. I never was like angry or got upset that people told me to be quiet. I just thought it was really weird to tell people that you don't know to be quiet. It was strange, especially when you're in public and other people are being loud. So if you don't want to experience like noise, then maybe just stay at home. I don't know. It was just strange. So, anyways, that was my Prague trip. And what else has been going on? I'm back in Alicante now. I'm busy, busy, busy because I am preparing to go home. I'm flying home to Bermuda on next Friday, December 20th for Christmas. So I'm in the process of doing all of my Christmas shopping, trying to buy all those presents for my family. And yeah, today is Sunday. I'm going to pack for Bermuda, I think. And well, I'm gonna start packing and kind of trying to figure out like what stuff I need to bring. And then probably go for a walk in the park. And that's it. I don't really think there's much else to update you guys on. Um, if you have any suggestions for topics, let me know as always. And yeah, thank you guys if you listened until the end. Thank you for listening to this ramble episode, this, random topic, just talking. Sometimes I just need this, and I hope you guys don't mind and you still find these episodes interesting and you can find some interesting phrases. Because yeah, sometimes I just need an episode to like just talk to you guys and hang out and be more chill. So, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday if you do watch this on Sunday. If you're listening on Spotify, this will be on Monday. So, have a lovely Monday, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.